Welcome to the Total Hearing Care Difference, where we help you experience life through better hearing. Hosted by the experts at Total Hearing Care, a leading private audiology practice serving the DFW Metroplex, we're here to provide guidance on hearing loss, tinnitus, and the latest advancements in audiology. Transform your life through better hearing. Let's get started.
Your hearing health plays an overall crucial role in your overall well being, but how often should you get tested and how long can you expect hearing aids to last? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sophia Yvette, co host slash producer, back in the studio with Dr. Jill Copley. Dr. Copley, how's it going?
It's going great. Every time I talk to you, it's going great, Sophia.
Aw, you're so sweet. Now, Dr. Copley, hearing care is something we often overlook until it becomes a problem. Let's talk about how to be proactive. How often should I get my hearing tested and how long do hearing aids last?
That's a great question. So it really depends on your age. So when you're born, there's something called a newborn hearing screening. And so all children born in hospitals or similar kinds of environments will have their hearing screened. And then beyond that, children should have their hearing screened within the school system. Now, once you get past that, there's not really a system in place to have your hearing tested. So we recommend being tested for a baseline or just to see how you're doing when you turn 50. So along with all the other things you do when you're 50, get your hearing tested. Now, beyond that, I would say probably every 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years. Research shows us that hearing changes about every 4 years significantly. When we work with people with their hearing instruments, we probably test them every 2 or 3 years, unless we know there might be an issue. So if there's an issue or somebody notices something, then we'll test them before that. A lot of people will say, let's test every year. I think that's probably too much, and I think other people have other things to do. So I would say every 2.5 to 3 years for sure.
Now, are there signs that indicate someone should schedule a hearing test sooner rather than later before that 2 to 3 year mark?
Yes, one thing to look for is if you're having trouble understanding people around you, especially in background noise. So that's one of the first signs of some hearing loss is you're not doing as well in background noise as others around you. The other thing is if somebody sets the TV where it's comfortable for them and you're having difficulty, then that's another easy sign to look at. When somebody has hearing instruments, there can be a multitude of other issues. So you can have those issues I just mentioned, or you're just not understanding, you're not hearing well. And then we need to look and see if it's the hearing instruments that aren't working or if it's your hearing loss. And so then when we see you for an appointment, we look at both of those things.
Wow, Dr. Copley, does that happen often?
Like I said, most hearing loss is very gradual, and we see significant changes after about 4 years, but it's not unusual for people to notice things in between. And that's why we usually say every 2 to 3 years, especially if you have hearing instruments, because we want to keep on top of any changes so we can make sure to program those devices to give you the best overall outcome.
Now, how can regular maintenance extend the life of hearing aids?
Great question. So, in our office, we want people to come in every few months and see our staff over the counter to have their hearing instruments checked and cleaned. And that way we can see if anything's going on with the hearing instruments. About once a year, we actually like to send in the devices to be checked by their manufacturer because these are tiny electronics, and electronics are always subject to wear and tear and degradation over time. And so that way, if we're sending them to the manufacturer, we can keep up with that. So we really recommend coming in often and letting us help you with that system to make sure everything is working. And that will help your hearing instruments last as long as their lifetime.
Dr. Copley, are you telling me that your patients can't clean their hearing instruments at home?
No, they definitely can. And we teach people how to do some basic cleaning. When they come into our office, we are able to do more in depth cleaning for people. And then there's some people that just don't have the dexterity or maybe the eyesight to be able to clean their hearing instruments well. And so we want them to come in so we can help them. Because that does happen. We see a lot of older people where they just have difficulty. That's okay, that happens, and we're here to help.
Now, do newer hearing aid technologies last longer than older models?
What happens is every 2 or 3 years, probably every two now, the manufacturers are going to come out with new treatment technology. And what that means is there's always ongoing issues that people with hearing loss may have, such as background noise. So that's a huge one for people. They want to be able to hear people in a restaurant or at a party or even a gathering with their family where there may be a large group of 10 or more people. And so the manufacturers are focused on that. They are always focused on giving the brain information to help people hear better, especially in those more difficult situations. So even though hearing instruments may last longer than a few years, we know that the treatment is going to improve. So we are always letting people know about the new treatments and the new hearing instruments and what they can do better than the previous ones.
So, Dr. Copley, what lifestyle habits contribute to keeping hearing aids functioning at their best?
So I think you need to get into a routine. If you take medicine, get into a routine. Most of the time now, hearing instruments are rechargeable. So you want to have a charger in a place you're going to remember to put the hearing instruments. And then when you get up in the morning, you put them in. You want to have a routine where you set aside time every day or at least every week. I hope people will do this every week, where they'll clean the hearing instruments and make sure everything's working okay. And then, like I said, beyond that is to get in the habit of working with the audiologist and the practice to make sure we're helping you keep up to confirm that the hearing instruments are working like they should.
Wow. Love it, Dr. Copley. That was a great discussion. Staying proactive about hearing tests and hearing aid maintenance can make a huge difference in long term auditory health. Thanks for the insights, and we'll see you next time.
You're welcome, Sophia. I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Total Hearing Care Difference. If you're in the DFW Metroplex and ready to take the next step toward better hearing, call 469-218-4853 to book an appointment or visit totalhearingcare.com. Because when you hear better, you live better. See you next time.